This is Car Show. I'm Sean Slattery.
I'm Justin Favela.
And the show features 3 sculptures based on incidents in the 90s that are remembered very well for the prominence of the image of the car.
We're focusing on 3 different kind of media spectacles. One of them, of course, was the murder of Selena. And in 1995, Yolanda Saldivar murdered her at a Days Inn. She shot her outside of the hotel and then held herself hostage in a red 1994 GMC pickup truck. So that's one of the cars. We're also going to do
the murder of Tupac Shakur here in Las Vegas at Koval and Flamingo. What we've done is create a proposal for a monument that theoretically could be sitting at that intersection to mark that event. And once again, we're concentrating not just on the murder, but the iconic image that most people conjure up when they think of that.
Look at all the cars on this next bridge.
The slowest and lowest high-speed chase down the freeway in California after Nicole Simpson was murdered. The O.J. Simpson Bronco, that really famous freeway helicopter shot that everybody saw.
What we liked about all 3 of these incidents with the cars is that they weren't symmetrical. That in one you have an actual murderer hiding out in her truck, in another you have the victim of a murder in his car, in his friend's car, and in the other you have someone who's accused of a murder in his friend's car trying to flee the cops. So this idea that none of these three things quite match up, except for they all center on a car in our memories, is what drew us to these particular incidents. As we collaborated, we actually agreed that it would be Favi's traditional process that would make the better show for this large space. I'm primarily a painter.
Sean kind of got me out of my comfort level, because usually when I make things that are kind of literal, like this is a piñata of a donkey, right? So a lot of paper, a lot of styrofoam, cardboard, things like that. Yeah, that was very fun, trying to figure out how to actually express the kind of the feeling behind each of the incidences. And I kind of took charge of Selena's murder and the vehicle involved in that, because I feel like Selena has been a big part of my life, and I think a lot she's been a lot part of a lot of Chicano culture, especially kids that are from the 80s and the 90s. She represented us for so many years, and that was just such a tragedy. And it really is, I think, part of all of us, especially here in the Southwest. So then when it came to actually designing and making a sculpture to represent that, I definitely thought about all of those roadside kind of memorials with the candles and the flowers that were set up. And since I've been making work in piñata form, and piñata kind of represents that Chicano culture, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of represent that scene with that. So the truck is going to be kind of this weeping piñata in the ground, and then not in the ground, but kind of, you know, very close to it, kind of like a lowrider, and then it's going to be filled with all these flowers to represent that memorial.
If you remember that actual event, we all remember the trial and remember people very angry, either OJ is guilty or not guilty. But at that moment, it was a spectacle, because people arrived on the streets with signs. Yeah. People were cheering OJ on, and in our piece, maybe OJ actually floats away, and none of the rest happens. Guilty or not, it's just OJ in his car, safe and protected, which is actually the theme of the show. Is everybody in their car thought they were in one space, and tragically it winds up that they were not.
Sean really took hold of representing the Tupac element. He's doing a proposal for Flamingo and Koval, a proposal for a memorial there. It's
going to actually reference traditional public sculpture, specifically public memorial, which I think was obviously heavily influenced by Maya Lin. After post-Maya Lin, things become very shiny and black and minimalistic, and that's still happening, I think, a lot today. But most importantly, I think Vegas, its violent history is always centered on the mob, and that's all Vegas gets attention for. But as a hip-hop fan in the day, Tupac was much more culturally relevant to me than anything Scorsese was doing, or this Vegas history that I just really wasn't interested in. And here's this moment of import to a whole young generation of music listeners that I think is overlooked quite often, and it's something I would love to see come back into Vegas. Yes, there's tongue-in-cheek in this sculpture. We're not actually proposing, but it's something I would actually stand behind if Vegas was embracing more of other sides of its history.
We're very excited to be showing at the Clark County Government Center. It's one of the most interesting spaces to show in. Please join us on Friday, March 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. for a special reception.
And the show will be up for 2 months, so we hope everybody enjoys it on their visit to the Government Center.